A former is under investigation accused of secretly recording students in the locker room. This morning, what police are saying about that suspect.
And San Antonio's ethics board dismisses a complaint against Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones, while the board called it frivolous. And who filed it? We'll break it down.
And a woman ambushed and shot inside her car by 3 suspects. What police are saying and reaction from concerned neighbors coming up.
Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Let's do another hour, shall we?
That's right. Okay, so I know we were getting a little bit busy on the roadways. RJ was kind of following on that. We'll get to that, all the head news, but first and foremost, let's get right outside.
Let's do it. It is cloudy out there this morning. It is warm, at least warmer than it has been. You can see the clouds there on our live cams. You look at 410 and I-10. And we're going to start off overcast. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s, 76 right now, 78 in Converse, 76 in Stinson. So this is one of the warmer mornings we've had in a while, but it's because we have more humidity in place, and this actually could lead to a little bit of rain today. Here's how I think the day breaks down. 74 at 9 a.m., 77 at 10 a.m., and then by noontime, we get to start to add in a small rain chance, 10%, 20% at 1 o'clock, and then we go up to 30% by 3, 4, 5, 6, probably through about 7 p.m. So this does include the evening commute. This does include after-school activities. There could be some spotty rain, but I'll tell you this, it'll be few and far between. Most of us stay dry, so it shouldn't have huge impacts, but I do want to let you know that that chance is there. The other big story will be some cooler air, at least in the mornings. By the time we get into the weekend, we'll have some drier conditions, and that will allow temperatures to dip into the mid-60s by Saturday and Sunday morning. So the weekend is looking really good, and we may have some cooler air off in the distance. So we're going to talk more about when we may see that first fall front. That's coming up in just a couple minutes, but let's get out to the roadways and see how things are looking. RJ.
All right, Justin, top of our 6 o'clock, and if you're just waking up and you're seeing this construction right here at 410 Austin Highway, you may be thinking to yourself, what exactly happened here? They initially had plans to pick this up yesterday morning, but clearly that has not been the case. KSAT announced yesterday afternoon that they were going to extend this closure through the rest of this morning's commute. So basically, here's the deal. 410 eastbound right here at Starcrest, Austin Highway, Perrin-Beitel, going to be affected by this ongoing construction in this one entire stretch, 410 east all the way to 35. So I've been telling some folks, if you need to exit Nacogdoches Road, that could take you up towards Wurzbach Parkway, or if you need to take Eisenhower Austin Highway, those are some potential options. The access road's still open, but you see right there, all main lanes, 410 eastbound right there at Starcrest, still shut down this morning due to construction that was started over the weekend, should have wrapped up yesterday. That was not the case. We'll continue to keep an eye on that situation. 1604 over here at Nacogdoches Road on the northeast side of town. Reports of a stalled vehicle. Let's go to Alex right now for a check of things on the ground there on drive cam. Alex, what can you tell us?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. It could be a stalled vehicle. It could be 2 stalled vehicles, too, because there's a number of vehicles over here in front of that SAPD cruiser. So the right lane is going to be blocked, 1604 westbound at Nacogdoches. That's why we have traffic backed up all the way to Lookout Road this morning until they get a wrecker on scene, RJ.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Everything else across the city, accident-free. We'll take a look at your inbound drive times coming up in just a bit. Guys, back to you.
Alrighty, gentlemen, thank you. This morning, a former Holy Cross High School employee is under criminal investigation, accused of secretly recording students as they changed clothes. San Antonio police say the 34-year-old man, who has not been identified, was also caught on camera having sex with another adult. Investigators say a staff member who shared an office with him spotted an alarm clock that appeared to have a camera lens. Inside, they found an SD card with footage of at least 3 students changing. The school fired that employee last week. In a letter to parents, the principal called the report credible and said the school took immediate action. Some families say they're still frustrated that they were not given more details.
It shouldn't happen. That's why you send them to a private school thinking that your grandkids or kids are going to be protected, and they're not. I mean, we don't know how long this has been going on.
Now, at last check, the suspect is not in custody.
18-year-old Andrew Cantu is waking up in jail this morning. This was after he was arrested in connection to the shooting death of 14-year-old SAISD student. The victim was Simone Cuevas. 3 other suspects face charges in connection with Cuevas' death. Surveillance video showed a group of 5 people following him as he left school last April. Police say that Cuevas was beaten before he was shot and killed near Brewer Academy. Bexar County court records show that Cantu was taken into custody on a capital murder charge. Also this morning, church police say that a man has been arrested more than a year after a woman was found dead in her apartment. Officers traveled to Corpus Christi to take 37-year-old Aaron DeCroulet into custody. He's accused of killing 42-year-old Lisa Snipes, who was found dead inside of a home at the Palmyra Apartments in 2023. He was first arrested last year on a charge of tampering with evidence, and now grand jury has indicted him for murder. He's being held in the Guadalupe County Jail on a $1 million bond.
The self-proclaimed dopest lawyer in town is now facing charges of drug possession and driving while intoxicated. San Antonio police arrested cannabis attorney Daniel Mailer on Saturday. He bonded out on Sunday and is set to appear in court for that DWI charge coming up next month. And of course, we'll continue to keep you posted on that. Meanwhile, last night, San Antonio Ethics Review Board tossed out what its chairman called a frivolous complaint against Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones, the former vice chairman of the local Republican Party, who has since resigned to run for Congress, filed a complaint against the mayor back in July. Now, the portion that made it to the Monday hearing dealt with the use of the city seal and letterhead on a letter to top Democratic Party officials, promoting San Antonio as a possible site for their 2028 convention. A 6-member panel of the board unanimously agreed that there was not enough evidence that the mayor had violated the ethics code. Afterward, the chairman said they don't want to become a gotcha board and told reporters the board gets a lot of petty things.
So if you look at some of the past complaints, a lot of them don't tend to hold water. You know, I saw this on somebody's website. I took a picture of this. I drove by a yard, it had a sign in it, and so it's like, oh, just because you're on one side of the aisle and they're on the other. That's what I feel sometimes when I see some of these complaints.
So before being elected mayor, Jones ran twice for Congress as a Democrat and was Undersecretary of the Air Force under former President Biden. The mayor was not at the hearing, but called the complaint politically motivated in a letter to the board and pointed to comments the GOP official made to KSAT about dropping his complaint if the mayor also reached out to the Republican National Convention.
She was ambushed with deadly gunfire while sitting in her driveway, and now police are still looking for the shooters who got away in a white sedan. Now, police say that the ambush happened while 32-year-old Kiana Mayberry was sitting in her car on Hickory Spring Drive near Bad Cop Road. They say that 3 men suddenly got out of a car down the street, snuck up to her, and shot her repeatedly. She died at a hospital. Police got the call just before 11 Sunday night. One neighbor who didn't want to show his face on camera says the shooting also took him by surprise.
It's pretty crazy. You wouldn't think this would happen in this neighborhood, especially on the first block right here, especially in this neighborhood. But, you know, stuff happens.
Now, other neighbors were more scared than surprised, and understandably so. They did not want to talk about the shooting at all.
All right, 6:07 now. Some more headlines for you this morning. The U.S. Supreme Court is back in session, kicking off a new term that is already making some headlines. Today, the justices are hearing a lawsuit from a Christian counselor challenging a Colorado law that prohibits therapy aimed at changing sexual orientation or gender identity. On Monday, the justices turned away more than 800 appeals, including one from Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's former associate. The court also heard its first arguments, a case out of Texas that could affect how far the constitutional right to a lawyer goes. And over the next several months, the court is expected to tackle some big issues, including President Trump's claims of presidential power, voting rights, and LGBTQ rights. It has now been 2 years since the deadly October 7th attack by Hamas that left about 1,200 Israelis dead and more than 250 taken hostage. Most have been freed, but Israel says 48 remain in Gaza. About 20 are believed to be alive. Meanwhile, Israel and Hamas are meeting in Egypt to discuss a new U.S.-backed peace plan aimed at freeing all hostages and ending the war. Well, as we enter day 7 of the government shutdown, the Senate has made no progress in passing a funding measure. The effects of the government shutdown are being felt by many air travelers. Staff like air traffic controllers are considered essential, which means they have to work, but they are not getting paid. That's led to large numbers of staff calling out sick and shortages. According to San Antonio International Airport's website, flights in and out mostly seem to be on time and unaffected right now.
Right outside with live cam, we're seeing cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-70s. We are watching our frontal boundary, which is crossing with Texas right now. This will bring some rain chances later this afternoon. Right now, rain chances sit at about 30%. We'll show you The timeline for this coming up.
6:09 right now. 2 New York tourists face a heart-stopping elephant charge this morning. They're sharing their terrifying story.
And hundreds of local nonprofits say they are sinking fast and they need more than just helping hands. The new All Hearts on Deck initiative and why some organizations that help San Antonio's most vulnerable could be forced to close their doors.
Hey, good morning, San Antonio. Hundreds of local nonprofits in the area say they are struggling and they need more than all hands on deck to fix the issue. They need all hearts on deck. They say because of their struggles that some nonprofits that help the most vulnerable people in San Antonio might be forced to shut their doors. Now, I was able to go to a couple different nonprofits who spoke at a press conference yesterday to see some of their work and hear what they say are some of the issues. They say now that finding help with during these conditions have been hard enough for a lot of organizations ever since the pandemic. And they say with an uncertain economy, with inflation and tariffs is bad enough. But when you add a government shutdown on top of that, it's cause for concern. Nonprofits get their funding from a lot of different sources like individual donors, but also state, federal, and local dollars. But they tell me on top of budget cuts coming from Washington, D.C., a government shutdown means that they could have to gamble on providing their services without getting reimbursed funding to pay for everything. That's why a group of nonprofits, hundreds of them, are saying that they need help from the community and have all hearts on deck because they say this isn't just charity, it's an investment.
We are a foundational element, not just with a do-good mission work that we do, but we are actually an economic driver and force for the health of our communities. We provide services from immediate needs to help pulling people out of poverty, to giving them opportunities to be happy, healthy, and successful.
Nonprofits in San Antonio provide about 1 in 10 jobs here for the city. That's about 87,000 workers. Now, what they're asking for from the community right now is to get help from people in town with the 3 T's. That can be donating your time, your talent, if you have skilled work, or your treasure if you're not able to help in person, but you can help with the donation. They also encourage people to reach out to their local elected representatives to make sure that nonprofits are not forgotten during the government shutdown. For now, I'll send it back to y'all. Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
All right. Thank you so much, Devin.
On RJ.
All right, guys. Yes, well, school zone safety is a topic we discussed when class started earlier this year. Area we focused on was the far north side off of 281. You see that map right there. We told you in August about the hundreds of school zone violations along Evans and Boulevardy roads, and the mother who founded the Johnson High School Smart Driving Program reached out to us. For years, she'd been trying to get a tougher state law passed that would add more fines to drivers who use their cell phones. That was Senate Bill 47. It would also restrict drivers under 18 years old and school bus drivers with minors from using their phones behind the wheel. And despite their best efforts this last legislative session, it did not make it through the legislature this year. But Melinda tells me that she will continue to try to prevent distracted driving and get that into part of the next session. And again, we have a couple of stories coming up later on with Melinda where we did a ride along with her and also got a chance to talk to some of the amazing students that are part of that Smart Driving program. We will get that to you coming up a little bit later on. 410 at Starcrest. Okay, still dealing with this ongoing construction right there. That's going to be our 410 eastbound lanes right there, Starcrest 235. That's going to be in place. That closure is going to be in place throughout the rest of this morning. So keep that in mind for all of our drivers around Roosevelt and also headed out to MacArthur High School. 1604 at Lookout Road, Nacogdoches. This was the spot that Alex Gomez was at earlier. Stalled vehicle. Can't see it there, but it's under the highway right there for all of our folks that are going to be on the northeast side of town. Give yourself about 10 extra minutes if you're making their way along 1604. Our citywide map, quick check, see what's going on here. We have reports of a stalled vehicle over by Pecan Valley on 37, closer to 10, but nothing that's going to cause us any major concern at the moment. On the far west side of town, looks like Castroville. Traffic is slow going, getting to parts of 90 and 1604. Quick check of our inbound drive times, 25 minutes, so that's indicative of what we're seeing out here. Pass loop 1604 for all of our drivers on the far west side of town. 25 minutes coming into town. Everything else is looking pretty good. 28 minutes if you're coming in from Lavernia. 24 minutes for all of our fine folks out there in Bernie. And how about our outbound drive times? 27 minutes headed out to New Braunfels, 20 up at 281 to Boulevardy. Everything else looking pretty good. South side 24 if you're headed down to Pleasanton for all my folks down there. Okay, so let's go ahead and check in with Justin Horn right now for a look at today's forecast. And fingers crossed, Justin, maybe some rain.
Hopefully, I hope you get some rain where you are. I know we all, at this point, pretty much need some shower activity to really take hold today. And I think there's a chance for it, but just know it'll be very spotty. And the reason for that, we have a frontal boundary across North Texas this morning. These are high temperatures today, so the front will have an impact on highs in places like Lubbock and Amarillo, where they will feel very fall-like, 60s and 70s there. We're still in the low 90s. And to be honest, even though this front may briefly move through, we're not going to get a big cool down from it. Here's the Futurecast at 2 o'clock. We start to see a few showers popping up in the hill country, and then by, I'd say, 3, 4, 5 o'clock is when we begin to see some of the spotty activity here in San Antonio. Again, it will not be for everyone, but rain chances sit at about 30%. By 8 p.m., we'll have a few leftover showers, and then most of those go away overnight. We may see a bit more activity tomorrow along the front, and it depends on where this thing kind of washes out, where we see that activity. But I think for the most part, it'll be south and west of San Antonio. Then after that, we see a goodbye to rain chances. Our forecast today, 72 at 8 a.m., 74 at 9 a.m., partly cloudy. We bring in that rain chance at 1 o'clock, 20% there, 30% at 4 o'clock, 92 at that point. So it'll still be very warm, 91 at 5 o'clock, and rain chances go through about 7, 8 o'clock this evening. Outside right now, it is much warmer this morning than it has been. 76 at the airport, 75 in New Braunfels, 66 right now at Bernie, and we've got light south-southeasterly winds. The dew point trend, though, is for that humidity to drop off, especially as we get into Thursday and more so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those are days where humidity levels will really tank during the afternoon, and that will make for some really nice mornings. So great mornings, great evenings, a little warm during the afternoons, but that's okay. And look at these lows by Saturday and Sunday morning, 65. It's kind of interesting, though. We're getting excited about this. This is average. This is more what you would expect in October. But yes, we'll have a great weekend with regard to those cooler mornings. And I am keeping a close eye on what's going on up here in Canada, where temperatures are turning colder. We're starting to see some teens and 20s, so we know there's some cold air building. There's still no good timetable on exactly when this spills down across the states. It, in theory, would be late October, but until then, we're still going to have a high likelihood of above average temperatures. This is through October 17th. This is kind of the outlook past our 7-day forecast. So still looks like we'll be staying warm for the foreseeable future. 91 Thursday, 91 Friday, low 90s this weekend, as we said, and the low 90s continue right on into next week. All right, our Just Ask Justin question this morning has to do with a mountain range. I wanted to know, what's the longest mountain range in the world, stretching over 40,000 miles? Is it the Himalayas, the Rocky Mountains, the Andes, of course, in South America, or the Mid-Ocean Ridge, which has a big lead at this point? The other three are evenly matched there. You go to ksat.com/poll, scan the QR code. Let us know what you think.
Beautiful. All righty, sir. Thank you very much. 6:20, 76 degrees outside.
So imagine being flipped out of your canoe by a massive elephant. You see it right there. Up next, how 2 New York tourists survived this terrifying attack in Botswana.
In this morning's GMA First Look, surviving an elephant charge. Watch as a massive elephant protecting the herd's young calves charges this group on a canoe safari in Botswana, flipping over the boat.
The first thought that came to my mind was, this is the end of me.
Jeff Melvin and Larry Unrain from New York were on that tour boat that they say started as an incredible adventure, but took an unexpected turn as they approached the herd of elephants. And this morning, they're telling their story to GMA.
In the blink of an eye, things kind of changed. I've never, ever feared for my life. Not like that.
Within minutes, the elephant begins charging toward them. And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more of this harrowing safari story. With your GMA First Look, I'm Janae Norman, ABC News, New York.
Hey, say what you will. I know that was terrifying, but awesome video they got.
That is true.
Great stuff they captured.
They lived to tell about it.
All right. Okay, here we go. 6:25. We got countless families in our area. They felt the pain of losing a loved one to fentanyl poisoning. That's why KSAT community getting together with local leaders to discuss what we as a community can do to protect our neighbors.
So join us this afternoon at 2 o'clock for a town hall hosted by our Courtney Friedman. We're going to hear from Angel Moms with Souls Walking for Souls. Representative John Lujan and Drug Intelligence Officer Wendell Campbell, they'll share the truth about what's happening and how we can work together to save lives in our community. There's more information at ksatcommunity.com.
All right, 625 right now, 76 degrees outside. And up next, we're going to find out what led to this moment when a street race ended in a fiery explosion.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
And we're starting right here at 6:30. Again, check your clocks because you're still in the bed. Might be late for something if you got to get somewhere at 7.
That is true, especially depending on where you're driving.
Definitely. A couple different things, guys, popping up on our roads. We'll talk about that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, for Worstful, how we looking outside?
Well, it's warmer this morning, guys. It's a lot more humid. We can see that with the cloud cover. The temperature is reflective of that. 76 degrees at the airport right now. Most of San Antonio is dealing with mid to upper 70s, which is a change because we've had 60s for quite a while. You will find some 60s in the hill country, but just in a general sense, we are seeing a warmer start to the day. If you're heading out to the bus stop this morning, yes, we're going to start off in the mid 70s, cloudy skies, and then by the afternoon, we'll be right back in the low 90s. Here's the one change today, though, a 30% chance of showers this afternoon. This is the first time in a while we've actually had a legitimate rain chance. Now, it will still be few and far between, spotty type of activity, but at least it's there. And if you're timing out your day here, know that the best odds will be between 2 and 7 p.m. 30% chance for you. Hopefully you get some rain where you are because we do need it. The drought conditions are worsening very quickly here across South Texas. We'll talk more about how long those rain chances will last. We do have another small chance tomorrow. And we'll look ahead to the weekend and check in on the tropics once again here in just a couple of minutes. But let's get you out the door and get you on the road. What's the latest, RJ?
All right, Justin, thank you very much. Let's take a look at your traffic as we get you going here on your 6:30 half hour. We have a stalled vehicle. I-10 at the Y. Traffic is still moving along, but basically this is just indicative of some of the traffic that we're seeing in the downtown area. Check out the traffic coming in from 35 right now. That's going to be Florida Street for all of our drivers that are making their way in from 35. We're going to see some backups also going to 10, and that's where we also have that stalled vehicle right there, 10 at the Y. So I'm looking at this about a 15-20 minute delay as of right now, but this will likely pick up for all of our folks making their way into downtown. So I would say by the time we get to our 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be looking at more than half an hour delays out there. 410 westbound right here, Villa Main, reports of a stalled vehicle. Looks like our traffic is kind of navigating around this Hero truck that's out here on the scene. So westbound lanes, traffic still moving along, no major issues, but South Presa is a potential option if you just want to kind of avoid that entire situation for our drivers on the far southeast and south sides of town. It looks like we are starting to, I want to talk about that in just a little bit, but this is going to be our construction activity. 410 eastbound traffic right here at Starcrest. Traffic hasn't backed up yet all the way to Nacogdoches, but I do anticipate that this is going to take a while to get all of our folks through there. The access road is still open, but do expect that traffic to continue throughout the rest of our morning when it comes to our construction. 410 east right there at Starcrest. 29 minutes coming in from Castroville. That's going to be our biggest delay. Outbound drive times, no major issues right here. 27 minutes if you're headed out to New Braunfels. At the moment, 25 to Pleasanton, 26 to Bernie. Be safe on the roads, y'all. Back to you guys.
This morning, teachers or staff members at more than 120 school districts in Texas under investigation over what they may have shared online about the political assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. He was speaking on a college campus in front of thousands of students when he was shot. The Texas Education Agency says that it's received more than 350 complaints about social media posts, and some of those teachers work for 13 school districts in our area. After Kirk's death, TEA Commissioner Mike Morath said that the agency will investigate educators accused of posting inappropriate content related to his death on social media.
Well, staying with schools, Northeast ISD is still waiting for guidance from the Texas Education Agency over its cell phone policy. The state recently passed a law banning students from using phones during class, but left it up to districts to decide how to enforce that. Well, any ISD currently allows students to use their phones during passing periods, something the TEA says does not go far enough. Parents have pushed back, calling the district's approach common sense, while Superintendent Dr. Sean Micah says he's frustrated with the state's call for a complete ban.
I feel like at this point, we've listened and we've done some things that make some sense. It's unfortunate that while those lawmakers who seem to agree with us had a change of heart, I guess.
The superintendent says that they have sent a 4-page response to the TEA, including an invitation to last night's meeting, but so far have not heard back. He says the district is in a holding pattern on their policy right now, and we're also looking to see how other districts are reacting to the cell phone policy. And Patty Santos is here right now with an update on that. Patty.
Hey there, good morning. So, Ernie, I wanted to know what kind of issues, if any, school districts in our area have had because of their new cell phone policy since the start of the year. And we reached out to some of the larger districts in Bexar County. Northside ISD said they don't have a way to track incidents where cell phones have been taken away or when calls have been made to parents on policy violations. But overall, they're hearing there's been no major issues on campuses. San Antonio ISD said they had 40 incidents related to its electronic device administration code, but that includes all electronics, not just cell phones. Southwest ISD said they only had issues at 6 of its 19 campuses, 25 total, adding that the majority of the students are complying. And we also reached out to Edgewood ISD, Southside ISD, and South San ISD. We'll let you know if we hear about any problems there with their new policy.
A former director at Texas A&M University San Antonio says that he left his role there after reporting high-ranking employees for improperly using their school credit cards.
Daniel Garza says he flagged purchases like technology that had not been pre-approved by IT, high-priced meals, and alcohol. Records uncovered by KSAT Investigate show the school's former provost used his card to charge just booze multiple times.
Started in 1984 with the federal government.
Have you ever seen receipts turned in for alcohol only?
Never, never. Working for federal government and county government, I've never seen that, ever.
Got the full investigation in the procurement problems at A&M San Antonio, and that's going to air tonight on the Night Beat.
Well, after months of cleanup and repair, part of Kerrville's River Trail is reopening. An area near Louise Hayes Park was hit hard during the July floods. Crews are still working to rebuild. And yesterday morning, they opened a stretch of the trail between the Camp Meeting Creek Bridge to the Francisco Lemos Street Bridge. And people say this is a sign of progress.
The river trail was great, and it's still great.
There's been a whole lot of work to get it done to this part, and we appreciate it. There's a lot more work to do.
So right now the trail is only open during daylight and people should stay on marked paths.
Now to some of your morning headlines at 6:36. Governor Greg Abbott posted last night that hundreds of his state's National Guard members were deploying now to help ICE agents and federal officials in different parts of the country. Now the posted photos showing troops in fatigues, helmets, and shields boarding a military aircraft. Some of the Guard members were to arrive in Illinois last night, where ICE agents unfortunately had been attacked by violent anti-ICE agitators. Earlier in the day, Chicago and state of Illinois leaders sued the Trump administration, where the lawsuit described plans to move troops into Chicago as, quote, illegal, dangerous, and unconstitutional. A federal judge did not immediately block the deployment, and the Trump administration has 2 days to respond to the lawsuit. Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs want the hip-hop mogul sent to a low-security federal prison in New Jersey to serve his 4-year, 2-month prison sentence. They told the judge yesterday that the facility's drug treatment program will help him stay clean. Combs' lawyers wrote a letter urging the judge presiding over his case to strongly recommend that the Federal Bureau of Prisons place Combs at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey. The judge has not yet acted on that request. And check this out. We got some newly released video from authorities in New Mexico that shows a street race happening that ended in an explosion. Police in Farmington say that cameras captured an attempted traffic stop of 2 vehicles fleeing after an illegal street race. One of the drivers lost control, collided with another car, and ended in an explosive crash. You see it right there. Officers arrived and quickly worked to remove a person from the burning vehicle, and he and another victim taken to the hospital. At least one driver now facing charges for racing on highways.
A reminder, we hope that you will join us on Saturday, the 11th, at the Rocket La Cantera for Light the Night. Hundreds of lanterns will illuminate the sky to celebrate, honor, and remember people impacted by blood cancer.
Daniela Ibarra will be emceeing the event, and you already know all the information that you need to find and learn more about this event happening right now at KSATcommunity.com.
Outside with Live Cam, it is 6:38, 76 degrees. A warm morning, a cloudy morning if you're stepping outside. It's kind of sticky right now. Will that lead to some showers later today? It's possible. We're also watching the dew points. Yes, sticky today, but much drier by the weekend, and that means some pretty good weather both Saturday and Sunday. We'll show you that forecast too coming up.
All right, it is National Taco Day. That means there will be deals, more than likely, at your favorite place. We're going to show you where you can find the best ones coming up. Plus,
I appreciate KSAT when they did their Know Your Neighborhood, because in that show, it didn't only show our flaws, but it showed the needs around the city and the lack of everyone in different areas. So therefore, it brought that to light.
This morning, we're going back to a special neighborhood in San Antonio. This time for the National Night Out. You're going to see how people there are uniting to improve the area where they live.
This is it. This demolition site could be the future home of a new downtown Spurs arena. So what questions do you have about this huge project? Scan that QR code to let us know. Coming up on Wednesday, I'm taking your questions to Spurs ownership to get you answers.
Time right now, 6:43. Tonight is National Night Out, a time when neighbors are encouraged to unite and form alliances to better their communities and make them safer. Well, this morning we're taking you back to Westwood Square. It was the very first neighborhood that we visited in our Know My Neighborhood series. One homeowner says they're so glad to see some small but positive changes since our visit.
I was born here, raised here. I've lived here almost all my life.
Jesusita Rio says progress has moved at a snail's pace in her West Side neighborhood, but it's happening.
We've got some businesses coming in. We've got Mambo, for example, on the Las Palmas area, the ACS that, has come in. So those are good. They have paved the road on 36th Street, which is, again.
She credits the focus by KSAT's Know My Neighborhood for getting city leaders to take their collective concerns seriously. But she worries the urgency will fade if more neighbors don't speak up and call city leaders.
Our tax dollars, as minimal as they are, they still pay. And we would like some kind of feedback.
In a year, she's noticed improvements to the sidewalks. A street light will soon be installed in a high-traffic area, and businesses are moving in. Rio says it's a small step for a community she feels has been neglected for too long.
We're getting there, one step at a time. Baby steps, but we're getting there.
Okay, so listen, they still had a long list of improvements that they like to see, including reducing speed along Castroville Road and Rios. Says she's going to be a part of National Night Out today. It's known as the San Antonio Neighbors Together. But, this is how you make a change in your community. You go to these events, you unite with your neighbors, and you have one voice.
That's good. I love seeing how, she's basically a living, breathing testament as being in the area, seeing what it was, seeing what it's becoming, and being hopeful for the future of that area.
Sure.
Very good. All right, Patty, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
All right, good stuff there, Patty, as we kind of focus there for our folks there on the west side of town. Well, how about this? The Spurs officially tipped off their preseason, taking on a team from China for the first time ever at the Frost Bank Center, and all eyes on the big man right here. Victor Wembanyama, who looked pretty good in his first official action since February. Victor scored 9 points, got 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks. He also ran a few pick and rolls. Check this out with the Spurs' new big man. Look at that guy, 7'2", Luke Cornett. Imagine a 7'4" guy throwing it to a 7'2" guy. The Green Cornett scoring 16 points, as did KJ and Julian Champagny. The Spurs take their preseason opener 119-88.
The whole preseason is like a big practice. So, and we need to take practice seriously. So we take this game seriously.
Okay, I like that from Wemby. Rookie Carter Bryant scoring 15 points. The Spurs will next hit the road to play the Miami Heat. That's going to play tomorrow night, 6:30 tip-off from South Beach. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, RJ. 6:46 right now. Countless families in our area have felt the pain of losing a loved one to fentanyl poisoning. And that's why KSAT community getting together with local leaders to discuss what we as a community can do to protect our neighbors.
So join us this afternoon at 2 o'clock for a town hall hosted by our Courtney Friedman. And there's more details right now at ksatcommunity.com. And this week's Taco Tuesday is extra special because, yes, today is National Taco Day. Many restaurants are celebrating with specials. For example, Taco Cabana is offering multiple deals, including $1 bean and cheese. Taco Palenque will offer casero tacos starting at $2.99. We have a full list of deals right now. KSAT.com. Just search Taco Day. That's like 1998 prices.
I'm embarrassed to ask this, but what is a casero?
It's like a homemade.
Yes. Yeah.
I think like casa, right? Is it
Yeah,
casa?
I would say that's about right.
Gotcha. Generally made homemade.
Sounds good.
Toppings.
Tasty. All right.
Delicious.
Let's get on the roadways and see if we're dealing with some delicious traffic conditions.
There you go. Yes. Definitely different types of options there. Tacos del hambre. That's one of my favorites. Yeah, that had little bell pepper, little cheese, little sirloin to it. All right, good stuff there. National Taco Day. Enjoy. All right, if you are about to head out to the roads right now, I-10, this is going to be our westbound traffic headed towards the Woodlawn area. So you see that we do have our Hero truck on the scene at this point. And again, this is a free service. Make sure that if you are ever caught in a situation where you're stalled on the road, that you could call the TxDOT Hero service. They will come out there for free and trying to help you out. Real quick though, let's look at our inbound traffic right now. Seeing some major backups there. 35 headed into Flores Street. San Pedro, that's a potential option to get you around some of those delays we're seeing there. 1604 right here, Nacogdoches Road. Traffic slow going after a couple stalled vehicles on the westbound lanes of 1604. You could take Topperwine, Pat Booker Road. Those are options there. And of course, we have our situation right here. 410 at Villamain, traffic is starting to move along. South Presa Street running along as pretty well as well for our folks on the south side of town. All right, let's check in with Justin, see how things are looking outside. A man who enjoys some good tacos and salsa.
Yes, I do. Salsa, as I say, my favorite vegetable. Yes, I love that it's Taco Day. I'm going to take part in some of those discounts, I think. There is a chance for rain today, 10% chance at noontime, 30% chance as you get into the afternoon. High temperature will be around 92. It'll be a little humid. We've already seen that this morning. It will also be the case this afternoon. And that humidity hopefully will translate to some rain. I think we'll get a couple of showers in the hill country as early as 2 o'clock. It'll probably take until 3, 4, 5 o'clock for some of that to shift down towards San Antonio. Even then, it's not going to be widespread. I can't impress this enough. It's going to be few and far between. Some of us will get some rain, though, I think, as this front gets a little bit closer. Hopefully it's raining where you are this afternoon, because I know we all need it. And then by tonight, most of that dies down. And then tomorrow, with that front still around, we could see a few more showers developing by late Wednesday afternoon. And then by 10 o'clock tomorrow night, most of this is dying down. Dew point trend. And this is going to be an important factor going forward. Yes, it's humid today, fairly humid tomorrow, although we start to drift into the pleasant category. But once we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and parts of Sunday, we will be firmly in the dry category, and we'll feel so good. That low humidity will do a lot for us, especially when it comes to those morning lows. We'll see them dip to 65, which sounds really nice. But by the way, the average this time of year is 64. So, yeah, we're getting back down to where we should be, quite honestly, for mid-October. Out in the tropics, we will have Jerry very soon on our hands. This storm system, though, is going to make that turn out to the Atlantic. It will be a non-factor for the United States, as many of the storms have been this year. Kind of an interesting year in that sense. Priscilla's Category 2 hurricane winds are at 100 miles per hour. This one will work towards the west coast of Mexico and bring some moisture to the desert Southwest and maybe even parts of North Texas, but really doesn't have any impacts for us. 90 tomorrow, 91 Thursday, 91 Friday, 90 over the weekend. Again, the morning lows change. The afternoon highs really do not. We'll see plenty of sun over the weekend, but that chance of rain today, so grab an umbrella just in case. All right, our Just Ask Justin question has to do with mountain ranges. And I asked, what's the longest mountain range in the world stretching over 40,000 miles? Your choices were the Himalayas, the Rocky Mountains, the Andes, or the Mid-Ocean Ridge. You saw the votes there. They were pretty spread out. With a small lead, the Mid-Ocean Ridge. What do you guys think?
I think definitely D. I think Mid-Ocean Ridge.
Okay.
I feel like I saw something in my science book back in the day where
made you think
kind of demonstrated how long it stretched.
Yeah, I agree. I think the oceans are so vast and uncharted in many cases that there's a lot of stuff down there.
You guys are super smart, and I love it. It is the Mid-Ocean Ridge, and here's why. It is the longest mountain range called the mid-ocean ridge, spanning 40,389 miles. 90% of the mid-ocean ridge is underwater. That's kind of the trick question here, separating continents. Areas around Iceland are the only parts of the mountain range that are above water.
See,
has a lot of volcanoes too.
There's a fault line then.
I was just going to say that part. I'm happy that we came up with a thing called picture books because that's how I remembered that.
That's
it wasn't
good,
a picture
man.
of it. I wouldn't have known.
I love it.
All right, it's
Beautiful.
6:52 right now, 76 degrees outside.
Okay, later next hour on GMSA Plus, lighting the night and the beautiful botanical garden when you can catch this dazzling action coming up.
Okay, 6:55. Biggest issue is going to be on the east to northeast sides of town right now. Still have a stalled vehicle being reported 1604 west for all of our drivers that are headed out to Lookout Road and Nacogdoches Road. We'll continue to keep an eye on that situation. And also want to remind our folks that we still are dealing with construction out here, 410 from Starcrest all the way to 35. So this will be in place, this construction on the eastbound lanes of 410 throughout the rest of your morning commute. Let's check in with Justin for a look at today's forecast.
Thank you, sir. If you feel so inclined, go ahead and grab an umbrella and just throw it in the car today. I don't know that everyone will need it. In fact, they won't, but there is a 30% chance of a shower or two this afternoon. High temperatures will be around 92, otherwise partly cloudy. We're starting off the day pretty humid. Look for another small chance tomorrow with temperatures in the 90s by the weekend.
All right, the dopest lawyer in town busted on drug possession charges. That and more drama coming your way on GMSA Plus.
RJ joins Jaffney in the next hour or so. Hope to see you on the KSAT Plus app.